Okay, so this is Leave It Part 2. I don't want you to start trying to practice this level of Leave It until you feel like the seated exercise that I showed you in Part 1 is really rock solid, okay? What we're going to do now is make things a little bit more exciting by putting the treats on the floor, because dogs think that everything that hits the floor is theirs, right? So what I'm going to do is take high-level treats like the one that I was using before as a target. So these are the really good ones. I'm going to put them on the floor and I'm going to say leave it, because she's been hearing the word this morning and she's familiar with it. She hasn't mastered it, but she's familiar with it. Now here's the important part. When we start turning up the excitement, like I'm about to do, her brain's going to start to spin faster. That is when she needs for me to add a little bit more information to show her what I mean, because she's going to start getting excited and focusing so much on the target that excitement can cloud her ability to pay attention to me. So you're going to see me show her. I'm going to put the treats down and give her the command. And she may look and pause at me for a second. Then I'll put another treat down. I'm just starting to gradually build a little bit of excitement. Then I'm going to step in front of the treat and I'm going to back her up a little bit. In the world of a dog, distance is respect. So when I say to her, leave it, she may be having a moment of, yeah, maybe I'm going to leave it, but she's still thinking about getting it. So when I walk into her, we call that spatial pressure. When I walk into her and back her up a little bit, what I'm saying to her is, this is what I want you to do. I want you to respect it and don't even think about it. Distance is the language of dogs. A few parts of the language of dogs, the most important part. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, one at a time. Ooh, look at that. Let me get her attention. Okay, so notice, I say the command just as I'm setting it down. Leave it. Good. Now she's very close to it. Watch what she does. Leave it. So you see how she'll look, leave it, she'll look back at it, and I have to keep repeating the word. If I have to keep repeating the word, then it hasn't fully sunk in yet. I should say words. So I will do this. Leave it. Good. And I'll back her up. I don't care if she jumps. Now, when she backs up, yay, good girl. I give her one of my little tiny reward treats. So the distance that she is now showing is more respect. See how she's also following me around with her eyes more? Now, what you're going to see is that I don't have to say the command as many times. Because when I told her to give it distance, when I backed into her and applied spatial pressure, I'm speaking her language. I don't have to keep speaking English to her, right? We as humans want to keep saying, leave it, leave it, leave it. But I said to her, leave it, and then I showed her, this is what it means. When I said, give it distance, she was like, oh, that's what you mean by leave it. Okay. So now I'm going to put a few more treats down. A little closer to her. Leave it. And then I'm going to show her. See how she wants to lay down near it? I'll back her up a little bit as far as I can. Now, she sits down, which is lovely. I don't really care if she sits, but that is a way for her to tell me she gets it. I do not give her a command to sit or to lay down. Because right now, this is not about me trying to control her movement through commands. This is about me learning to speak, there we go. This is about me learning to speak her language, meaning using distance, using spatial pressure, taking her language and applying it to mine, which is leave it, right? So I'm saying leave it, I'm speaking human. I have to take the language of the dog and connect it. So what I've done is connected, give it space, and right now I'm going to add more excitement. I've got another treat, and this time instead of setting it down calmly, I'm going to drop it. That's a little more excitement. Leave it. I'm going to do it again since it bounced further from her. Leave it. Okay. Leave it. Leave it. Ah, good. So you see how I used the word that one time. Now I've got treats everywhere. I used the word instantly to stop her from picking it up. But I didn't just rely on that word, I backed her up again to show her. When that treat bounced toward her, you're good. that was a lot of excitement for her. There was a high value treat bouncing her way. She jumped up, which I would expect. My goodness, this is her first lesson. I said the leave it command, and that was enough to stop her, but I needed to get in there and then show her and back her up again. So she's still staring because now there's one off camera right here, and then these two you can see. Let me move this back on camera. So I have one more. Leave it. I keep getting away bounces. Leave it. Oh, that's bad. Leave it. Good girl. That was really borderline unfair. Now, you can't see, but she's up against a dog bed. This is as far back as she can go right now. So I bounced that one right up to her face, unintentionally. But you can see now how close. I could have backed her up further and made her get up on the bed, but she's laying down. Now, I want you just to notice with all of these treats how I don't have to keep repeating the command. When I get in there and back her up and show her what it means, I translate it for her, it starts to make sense. It is so much better than screaming the command at her 50 times. Right? Good girl. Now, when I'm done with this exercise, I pick them up. She can go sniff around if she wants to. But if I were to leave those treats on the ground and just say, okay, go get them, or pick them all up at one and say, okay, go get them, then this exercise becomes like a traffic light for her. She's going to do whatever and keep staring at that treat, waiting for the moment that I release her to get it. She's waiting for the light to turn green. I don't want her to wait for the light to turn green. When I say leave it, I want her to think, I can't touch them. Those belong to Mo. I can't have them. So we can talk more about this, but the idea is that we pick them up, we change space and conversation, and then I say, sit. Good girl. Down. Down. Good girl. Now, normally I don't do sit and then down, as I told you, but I just wanted to engage her brain. But normally I won't do sit first. And break. Good girl. Genius.